Johnny Depp. When you hear that name, what comes to mind? Pirate adventures, quirky roles, and that undeniable charm that has made him one of Hollywood's most iconic actors. Over the years, we've seen Johnny transform into unforgettable characters, whether it's the charming Captain Jack Sparrow or the misunderstood Edward Scissorhands. But behind the fame, the roles, and the endless spotlight, there's a side to Johnny Depp that many don't get to see, a more vulnerable, human side. And recently, during an event in the romantic city of Paris, Johnny did something unexpected. He shared an emotional love confession that touched the hearts of millions. It's not every day that we see our favorite celebrities get vulnerable in front of the cameras. We're used to the glitzy red carpet events, interviews, and photo shoots where the stars appear polished, perfect, and untouchable. But this moment with Johnny was different. It wasn't about the flashy makeup, the tailored suits, or the perfect lighting. It was about Johnny being himself, raw and real. He was asked a question about love, a question that, on the surface, might seem like a simple, typical inquiry. But the way Johnny answered it, the depth of his words, the sincerity in his eyes, that's what turned this moment into something unforgettable. He could have easily brushed off the question or given a rehearsed, generic response. After all, he's been in the public eye for decades, and it's easy to fall into the trap of giving safe, formulaic answers. But Johnny didn't take that route. Instead, he decided to share a piece of his heart, talking about love in a way that most people, especially in the celebrity world, would shy away from. He spoke of love not as a superficial emotion or something based on grand gestures, but as a deep, emotional connection, a connection that goes beyond the surface and speaks to the soul. For most of us, love often gets tied to fleeting feelings, the butterflies in the stomach, the passion that comes and goes, or the idealized romance we see in movies. But Johnny's words served as a reminder that love is so much more. It's about that quiet understanding, the kind of bond that doesn't need words to be felt. It's the type of love where, even in silence, two people can share an unspoken connection. It's the kind that stays, even when the sparks fade, and the initial excitement wears off. It's deep, real, and, most importantly, enduring. As Johnny spoke, there was no denying the emotion in his voice. His words were simple, but they carried weight. He wasn't speaking in grand philosophical terms or using fancy metaphors. He was speaking from experience, from a place of true understanding. And you could feel it. It wasn't just about his words, it was about how he said them. The sincerity in his voice, the softness in his tone. It was clear that Johnny wasn't just giving a public performance. He was speaking from the heart. He was opening up in a way that few celebrities ever do. This wasn't just some celebrity PR moment either. For those who might have thought it was all staged or planned for the media, watching the video of Johnny's confession made it clear that this was anything but a publicity stunt. There was no script, no agenda. Just Johnny, sitting in front of a microphone, letting his guard down and sharing a piece of himself with the world. In an industry where stars are often expected to maintain a polished, flawless image, Johnny's rawness was a refreshing change. The fact that Johnny Depp, someone who has been through so much in the public eye, personal struggles, intense media scrutiny, and countless rumors, could still open up about something as personal and intimate as love speaks volumes. It shows that even in the face of fame, wealth, and success, we all crave that same thing, connection. Genuine connection. It's something we all need, whether we're in the spotlight or living quietly behind the scenes. As Johnny continued to speak, he touched on the importance of understanding in relationships. It wasn't just about finding someone who excites you or someone you feel intense attraction for. It was about finding someone who truly gets you. Someone who understands your quirks, your flaws, and still accepts you for who you are. In a world that often places so much importance on physical attraction, Johnny's message was a much-needed reminder that emotional connection is just as, if not more, important. And let's be honest, how many of us have been in relationships where we thought we were in love, but deep down, we knew it was something else? Maybe it was infatuation, or maybe we were just trying to fill a void. But love? True love, the kind Johnny described, isn't about finding someone to simply pass the time with. It's about finding someone you can build a life with. Someone who will be there, not just in the good times, but in the rough patches as well. Johnny's confession also made us think about vulnerability. In the celebrity world, vulnerability is often seen as a weakness, something to avoid, something to hide. But here was Johnny, one of the most famous and beloved actors in the world, showing us that vulnerability doesn't make you weak. It makes you strong. It takes a lot of courage to be vulnerable, to open yourself up to someone else and risk getting hurt. But without vulnerability, love can never truly exist. If we don't allow ourselves to be vulnerable, we're shutting ourselves off from the possibility of experiencing something beautiful and meaningful. As Johnny spoke about love, he also mentioned how important timing is. We all know that timing is crucial in many aspects of life, but when it comes to love, it's everything. Johnny explained how, for him, love wasn't something that could be rushed. It's something that comes when the time is right, when two people are ready to connect on a deeper level. And maybe that's the hardest part about love, it's unpredictable. We can't control when or where it happens. But when it does, it's worth all the waiting and uncertainty. But Johnny didn't just talk about his own experiences. He also shared a message for those watching, something we could all apply to our own lives. He reminded us that love is about more than just the romantic gestures or the passionate moments. It's about the small things, the quiet moments, the little acts of kindness, the times when no one else is watching. These are the things that build the foundation for a lasting relationship. And that's something we can all relate to. If you've ever been in love, you know exactly what Johnny is talking about. You know the feeling of being understood by someone without having to say a word. You know the joy of simply being in the presence of someone who makes you feel complete. And if you haven't found that yet, maybe Johnny's words will inspire you to keep searching. Because true love is out there, it just takes time, patience, and a willingness to be vulnerable. At the heart of Johnny's message is the idea that love is not perfect, but it's real. It's messy, complicated, and sometimes painful, but it's also beautiful and worth every ounce of effort. Love isn't something we can control, and it's not always going to go according to plan. But when it's real, when it's genuine, it makes everything else fade away. And that's the kind of love that Johnny was talking about. The best part about Johnny's confession is how relatable it is. Despite being one of the biggest stars in the world, Johnny showed us that he, too, has experienced the highs and lows of love. He's not immune to the heartbreak, the joy, and the vulnerability that comes with it. And maybe that's what makes him so lovable. It's the fact that, even with all his fame and success, he's still just like us, someone who wants to experience love in its truest form. As we reflect on Johnny Depp's emotional love confession, it's clear that love is something we all need and want. It's not about finding someone to fill a void or to fix your problems. It's about finding someone who understands you, accepts you, and wants to build a future with you. And most importantly, it's about allowing yourself to be vulnerable enough to experience love in all its forms. Johnny's confession was a beautiful reminder of that. So, let's all take a page out of his book and approach love with authenticity, vulnerability, and a willingness to truly connect with others. In the end, Johnny Depp's words weren't just about love, they were about embracing our own humanity. They were about showing that even the most famous people, the ones we put on pedestals, are still just people. They have the same desires, the same fears, and the same need for connection as the rest of us. And maybe, just maybe, that's the most beautiful thing of all.